Hey everybody, welcome to Matt's Metal Show. Today we're going to talk about Kiss. Yes, Kiss. I'm going to rank the studio albums of Kiss. I'm also going to add in the solo albums from 1978, all four of them. And I'm going to throw in Kiss Alive 1 and 2. Kiss Alive 3 and 4. But Kiss Alive 1 and 2, and the only reason I'm going to add those in is because in the annals of rock and roll, those albums really are what kind of cemented Kiss. And a lot of people, like, those were the first albums that they actually bought. So I'm going to include them. They're live albums, but, well, they're kind of live albums. We'll talk about them. So altogether, there's 26 albums that we're going to talk about. So I'm going to do this kind of quickly because a lot of these albums I'm like, yeah, not hugely into. Little background. I was never a huge Kiss fan. I think that was probably like my older sisters, like her group of friends were way into Kiss. I was like 3 years younger than her, so I wasn't as into Kiss. I mean, because in Kiss's heyday, I was like 8 years old. You know, like 78 was when they were probably their biggest. I was like 8 years old. So, yeah. Plus, my mom wouldn't let me listen to Kiss. Jesus Christ. I mean, Kiss was... Yeah. Yeah. So, I didn't really get into Kiss until I met my friend George back in 79, I want to say. 79. And George had every fucking Kiss album you could possibly imagine. His entire bedroom was plastered in Kiss. He had 4 walls in his room. 1 wall was for each member of Kiss, literally. I swear to God, he had like a Gene Simmons wall and a Paul Stanley wall and an Ace wall and a Peter Criss wall. And I used to go over to George's house and I would just, be in awe. But I never really listened to Kiss. And then I remember George made me like a comp tape of them. And so I'm going to say it was probably 81 by the time that happened, because the bulk of the stuff that he put on there was from the Elder. Yeah. Music from the Elder. So there's one song on there called Mr. Blackwell, and that kind of kicked me off with Kiss. So, and then I kind of went back, from 81 on, it was like, I wasn't hugely into Kiss. I would get their albums, maybe I think I bought Creatures of the Night in 82. And then their later stuff in the 80s, and then you lose track and stuff like that. So there's a lot of albums that I'm like, yeah. And then the other thing about Kiss is that, Kiss when we were kids were they like rock gods. They were almost comical. They were like a comic book. And they were a comic book. They did a comic book where they dumped their blood into the red ink so everybody had a piece of Kiss. Does like hepatitis mean anything to you? I'm just saying. Or whatever. Kiss were these larger than life. They were characters. And then they took their makeup off in 83, and then they became like just these misogynistic assholes, And so I have this like love-hate relationship with Kiss because I don't really like who they are. They're fucking douchebags. Especially Gene Simmons, and Gene's probably what got me into Kiss because he was so fucking scary that I was like attracted to that because it was fucking awesome. It's like, holy shit, this guy is fucking scary. He drip blood and spit fire and all that shit. And he had that rush. I'm the god of hellfire. No, that wasn't him. That's actually somebody else. Arthur Brown. I am the god of hellfire, and I bring you fire. No, Gene had that God of Thunder and Rock and Roll. Yeah. Now I gotta get a drink now because I just blew my vocal cords out. So, anyways, 26 freaking albums that we're going to cover real quick, and let's get to it. Number 26, Peter Criss. Peter Criss' solo album from 1978. All the band came out, each one came out with a solo album. Now, the funny thing is on the cover of the album it says Kiss, and then it said the band member, and then each one had their little drawing. The Peter Criss one was fucking awful. That's the kind of sugar that Papa likes. Rock Me Baby. Woo! Kiss the Girl Goodbye. I'm Gonna Love You. Hooked on Rock and Roll. The problem with Peter Criss is he wasn't really into like hard rock stuff. He was kind of more into like R&B and shit like that. And Kiss fans didn't understand that. So nothing wrong with that. I've listened to it like, not recently, but it's not fucking awful, but in the context of what it should be or what everything else was, yeah, it wasn't awesome. Number 25, 1989's Hot in the Shade. By 1989, I couldn't have gave a fuck if Kiss was caught on fire, and it had that, cover with the Sphinx with a pair of sunglasses on. I mean, it was just lame from the beginning. Like, just the cover's lame. And by that time, Kiss was so lame because they had come out with Crazy Nights. And they were just, by that time, like, Kiss was a joke. And I don't ever listen to this album. I know there's a song called Little Caesar on it, and I think that, I want to say Eric Carr sang on it. Eric Carr was still alive, so Eric Carr was, still playing. Great drummer. Rise to It. That's a cool song. Betray. Read My Body. Silver Spoon. Cadillac Dreams. This was Cheesemo Kiss, and I wasn't into it. And the same with number 24, Crazy Nights from 1987. This is like the year I graduated from high school, and I can remember, I loathed Kiss. I did. I loathed them. They went from like being Kiss to like all of a sudden they're wearing like pink shirts and and Gene Simmons, because they have really thick weird hair, and the rumor is that most of them were wigs or have had hair implants. And definitely you can see when Paul goes on stage, he's wearing a wig because that big giant hair that he wears, it doesn't move. It's like giant. It's like this big. Yeah. Looks like you could it could not be, destroyed by conventional weapons. Anyways, Crazy Nights. Kiss was lame. And the song, Crazy, Crazy Nights. And I think even the Judas Priest had a night, crazy, crazy. Like, this was like in the middle 80s where like MTV was huge and like people were making lame ass songs. And Kiss was one of them. I mean, they had like Hell or High Water, Reason to Live. I don't know. I'll fight hell to hold you. No. Anyways, just the opening track, Crazy Crazy Nights, like killed it for me. So that's number 24. Number 23. This will be surprising to some, but not to me. Psycho Circus from 1998. People are like, what? It's like the reunion album with Peter Criss and Ace Frehley. Yeah, it's garbage. It is. It really is. I remember kind of being excited. I remember I got the CD and they had that like lenticular cover and you could move it and it like. But what Kiss did is they turned this into a comic book, a toy line. This was a cash grab, like extraordinaire. I mean, the reunion tour went good. It kind of like destroyed the Kiss that was around, and we'll get to that. But like, it was just a total cash grab, just run by like, like Gene and Paul. That was it. Ace and Peter, they were there just to to wave, like shut up, don't say anything, and just smile, that kind of thing. Like Fran Drescher in Spinal Tap. You don't say too much, just smile. Yeah. Um, like Peter played on one song. He played on Into the Void. That was it. That was the only song he played on, and then he sang on another song. But if you talk to those two guys, they're like, it was very restrictive of what they had to do to deal with that album. And to me, it was a bunch of song doctors. If you like look up who wrote the songs and stuff, it's like all Paul Stanley. I think Ace wrote one song, Into the Void, and that was it. And it was just like, to me, it felt like Kiss, which is mostly a lie, and that's what Kiss does. And I remember I bought it, and then I listened to it, and at first I was like, yeah, but then I was like, this album's kind of lame. It's like the album that they wanted you to think that you wanted to hear. Does that make any sense? It was just like so formulaic, so song doctored. And that's the problem with Kiss, is like for the last however many years, it's not about the music at all. Like, it hasn't been about the music for a long time. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not a big, huge Kiss fan. Which is funny because I own all their shit. What the fuck? Like, I own all their albums, but I'm not a huge Kiss fan. I'll put them on, like, every once in a while I'll be like, oh, let's listen to this, and I'll listen to that. They do have some classic fucking albums. I mean, they are, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Woo! Don't get me started on that. Just kidding. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't know. All these people are like, oh, the Rock and Roll Hall. Shut the fuck up. It's a fucking building in Cleveland. Like, who gives a shit? Jesus. In Cleveland, Ohio. Anyways, Psycho Circus felt like a fraud. It was a fraud. And all the shit that they threw into it, the little comic book and the little fucking McFarlane figures and, yeah. Anyways, Psycho Circus. Number 22, Monster. Last album that Kiss has done. I got it just because it was super cheap. It's just a formulaic Kiss album. On the cover, Paul's like hugging Gene and he's reaching out to you. I don't know if that has anything to do with the name Monster. I'm not sure. The monster part is probably because Kiss are a bunch of monsters, like they're not good human beings. I don't know. As Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer playing Ace and Peter, or I'm sorry, the Spaceman and the Cat. Whatever. Howler Hallelujahs. It's a cool opening track. Freak's a fun song. Other than that, it's Eat Your Heart Out, The Devil Is Me, Last Chance. It's not exciting. It's a cool album to just put on when you're doing something that you don't need to concentrate on the music. Same thing with number 21, which would be Sonic Boom. I remember when Sonic Boom came out, I worked at Walmart. I was a manager at Walmart, and I remember, like, Walmart bought Sonic Boom, like, 1 million copies of Sonic Boom, and then they bought all this merchandise and shit, and it had the same covers like Rock and Roll Over, and, the same artist, so that, they were trying to make you think, like, oh, dude, you're buying, like, Rock and Roll Over. And same thing, same problem I have with Monster, same problem I had with Psycho Circus. Is the same problem I have with Sonic Boom. It's just a formulaic Kiss album. Gene Simmons being creepy. He's like, now by this point, he's like in his 60s, late 60s, early 70s, and he's still being a fucking creeper. And that kind of wears thin after a while. It's like, okay, Gene, we understand you have fucking addiction problems, that you're a fucking sex fiend and a fucking creeper, You probably committed fucking sex crimes all over the world, according to the shit you say in interviews, like where you're like, oh yeah, I went down to Brazil. Yeah, a lot of babies were born after we left. Like you're a fucking rapist, you know. Good job, Gene. And that's kind of the thing is like after I kind of your heroes fall, and you look at Gene Simmons and he's such a horrible person that you're just like it affects how you like the music. And they're shitty people, and they've been very, very deceptive to their fans over the years. With their live albums. So I don't know, Sonic Boom. It just felt like a lie, dude. I mean, Modern Day Delilah. What else is on there? I'm gonna look it up real quick because I don't have it right in front of me. Sonic Boom. Yeah, Modern Day Delilah was cool. Like, I don't mind the Paul Stanley songs. And I think didn't they even like let Eric sing some songs on here like they were Peter and Ace. Then Russian Roulette. You got all these creepy songs where like Gene's like being a creeper, and you're just like, okay. I don't know, that album just goes right past me. I remember buying it, and I was like, oh, I wonder what this is all about. And then I listened to it, and I was just like, same old shit from Kiss. Just trying to make $1. And, that's it. But Kiss has always been trying to make $1, so don't fool yourself and think Kiss was in it for the music, man. Kiss was in it for the chicks and the money. Chicks and money. Chicks. Gene. Sex offender. Or, I don't know if he's a sex offender. I don't think he's ever been arrested, but he's had a lot of suits come against him. So, yeah, but just throw money at it and it'll go away. Whoa. Number 20, 1980s Unmasked. I've heard people kind of get nostalgic about this album. It's fucking garbage. Peter Criss on the cover. We all think he's in the band. He's not. He's credited, but didn't even record a fucking piece of that album. And it's funny because we were stupid back in 1980. We were like, dude, Peter Criss is still in Kiss. Peter Criss's last show was here in San Diego, I believe, on a Dynasty tour back in '79. And he was gone. He was in the wind. I think he came out with a solo album, which I have, and it's fucking garbage. So the first solo album the first one he did with Kiss was garbage, and then, wow, you should hear the second one. It's called Out of Control or something. It's fucking terrible. The things that cocaine will let you get away with. Unmasked. It's like the disco poppy Kiss. It's got Shandy on it. There's a lot of Ace songs on here, which is probably the only cool part of that album, because he does Two Sides of a Coin. He does Torpedo Girl. There's a lot of things that Ace was doing. I guess Ace was bored at this time. The other guys, there's so many guest musicians, Anton Fig plays drums. Bob Kulick plays on here. There's a bunch of little guests and stuff that you don't know about because they never credited them, like Kiss. Oh, we played everything, man. It's like Ozzy writing all the fucking lyrics and shit. All songs written by Ozzy Osbourne. All instruments played by Kiss. Right. Unmasked. I just remember that, first of all, the cover's stupid. They take their masks off and they're still wearing their makeup, and then the last part's the guys will, I still say they stink. I just remember seeing that even as a kid. I was 11, thinking that was the dumbest thing I'd ever seen. That's pretty impressive when you fucking can't even impress an 11-year-old back in 1980. And yeah, I thought it was dumb. So I can stomach. There's not a really, well, some of them push it, but there's not really a Kiss album that I would put on that would make me vomit. It's not like Motley Crue's Generation Swine. It's just unlistenable. That fucking Metallica album they did with Lou Reed, Lulu, I can't fucking listen to that, But every Kiss album, it's either poppy or it's bullshit or it's like trying to be heavy and it's not. And so it's not. It's not like the worst thing I've ever heard in my life, but hey. But Unmasked, yeah, it was a weird time, man. There was a lot of things going on. Like I think Gene was off trying to be a movie star, or he wanted to do all this weird stuff. He was dating like Cher and Diana Ross and shit, and I don't know, being a creeper. So there was a lot of weird stuff going on. You know, Peter's out of the band. I think Ace was just doing whatever the fuck he wanted. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna play Torpedo Girl." There's some fun songs on there. Like I said, I don't hate it now. I mean, because years and years, 40 years has gone by. I mean, we can fucking deal with it now. But back then, yeah, I wasn't fucking. It wasn't awesome. Look, I got the perfect lighting right there. Don't move. Yeah, half the time it looks like half my teeth are missing because there's this weird shadow on there. What's the other thing? Let's go to number 19, and I know it's gonna blow some people away. I heard people say they love this album. I don't know why. 1979's Dynasty is number 19. Um, Dynasty. Okay, Peter Criss played on one song on that album. One song. He played on, what song was it? Dirty Living. I don't think he played drums on the album. I really don't. I'll look it up. But people have this weird, I don't know, in 1979, we were all kids. I was like 10 years old. So we all have this fondness for stuff that we heard when we were a kid. I didn't listen to Dynasty when I was a kid because my parents didn't listen to fucking Kiss. And my friends, except for George listened to Kiss, but I had just met him. So, like, really, like, I had no window into this Dynasty affliction that everybody, like, has this fondness for. I was watching Pete Parno the other day, and they were talking about Kiss albums. And he was like, oh, I love that album. And you're like, it has I Was Made for Loving You. It has 2000 Man. It has Sure Know Something. Those are the three good fucking songs on the album. Dirty Living's alright. Dirty Living. And then the rest of the album is fucking stupid. Charisma? Ugh. Fucking hate that song. Magic Touch, Hard Times, X-Ray Eyes. You know, I know who Gene Simmons is now, so now when I look back and I hear the Gene songs, now I just get kind of creeped out by him because he's a fucking creeper. Save Your Love. Like I said, there's three good songs on this album. My opinion, but some people think like, oh, damn, I love Dynasty. I was watching this meet and greet where they were like having those guys sign Dynasty. That's the fucking album you bring to meet Kiss, or two members of Kiss, and then Eric Singer and Tommy Thayer. Let's beat that dog to death. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna bring Dynasty. Yeah, why don't you bring Unmasked? Fuck it. You know, wow. Number 18, Animalize. You know, I would have ranked this higher because I really liked Animalize when it came out in '84 because I was like 14, you know. So, and I saw them on that tour. I think Queensryche opened for them. I want to say Queensryche opened. And they were lame. They were all spandexed out, wearing animal prints and shit like that. Gene Simmons had that fake hair because he was in Runaway like the week before, and Gene Simmons is going bald. Like, that's what Gene Simmons really looked like was in the movie with Tom Selleck, Runaway. That's what Gene Simmons really looked like. And then all of a sudden the next week, he comes out, he's got this long hair that's not moving. So they all fucking wear wigs, you know. I don't think Gene wears a wig now. He just has that, like, wiry hair, you know, because he's from, like, the Middle East, you know. He's got Middle Eastern hair, you know. I would have ranked it higher, like, a couple of years ago, but now I was just listening to it recently, and I realized, like, with the exception of, like, Heaven's on Fire, I don't really like that album that much. I really don't. I was looking at it, and I was like, because I usually look through and I see how I rank the songs, because I rank all my songs. And I looked at it and I was like, dude, I only ranked one song 5-star, and that was Heaven's on Fire. it's a good flowing album, but there was some dumb moments. Burn Bitch Burn. Once again, Creepy Jean. Murder in High Heels. Under the Gun. Get All You Can Take. Lonely as the Hunter. I've Had Enough, Into the Fire. That's actually a good song. So it's a solid album, and I listened to it a bunch back in the 80s, but it just kind of maybe lost its luster because Kiss has lost its luster for me because I think Kiss is deceptive and creepy and whatever. So, but it's a good album. But I ranked it number 18. Carnival of Souls, I ranked number 17 from 1997. The thing about this is that all of a sudden, these guys were working on an album with Eric Singer and Bruce Kulick, and then all of a sudden the reunion thing happened. They did Unplugged, and then people started freaking out, and then Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons saw dollar signs in their eyes, and I'm sure so did Peter and Ace, who really needed the money, and they were like, oh, so they kind of like shit-canned this album that they had been recording, and they went out on the fucking reunion tour and made a shit ton of money and played everywhere they could. I think they played underneath the Brooklyn Bridge at one point. And we all knew that wasn't going to last because Ace and Peter were back in the band, and they fucking all can't get along. But so they kind of shit-canned this album, and then kind of what I heard was people started leaking out this album, like it kind of went to like bootleg, and it was like, and so Kiss just put it out, and it's called Carnival of Souls: The Final Sessions, and it's heavy. It sounds really grungy. The cover of them like in some little shitty room, and like they're all cramped together, like that's how they would record, and that's probably a lie. Like they were in some rehearsal space or something. It's a weird album, but it's pretty hard, and it's got some cool songs in it. I like Hate, like Childhood's End. Jungle's good, yeah. I Confess. It's a cool album. I'd rate it higher than Animalized just because it's heavier than Animalized, but it was one of those albums that kind of like some people listened to, and then some people had just slipped right off their radar because the cover wasn't very inspired. It was just like, we're just, okay, take a picture. Okay, that's the album cover. Fuck. All right, number 16, Paul Stanley, 1978. The thing is that I like Paul, but I can only take Paul's voice for like so long because his fake falsetto, like even when you're listening to Alive and Alive 2 where he's talking to the audience, it's like, dude, do you really talk like that? I want to know everybody. We're gonna drink tequila. No. Like, can you imagine if I've seen interviews where he just talks normal, but can you imagine if he actually walked around talking like that all the time? Paul's album was cool, but it's seriously one of the least ones I listened to. That and that fucking abomination that is, Peter Chris's album. And Tonight You Belong to Me. Hold Me, Touch Me, Think of Me When We're Apart. Paul went for the, Ain't Quite Right. I don't know. Everybody always praises this album. I think it's kind of fucking boring. Paul was that kind of lovey, pop star-y kind of shit. He was the one that was kind of embracing disco, too. So, number 16, Paul Stanley. Number 15, Asylum from 1985. Up till Asylum, Kiss had come out with at least one album for every year they were around. From 1974, and a lot of years they were coming out 2 or 3 albums. But from 1974 to 1985, 11 straight years, there was a Kiss album every single fucking year. And then that was the last time because from the jump from Asylum to Crazy Nights is like 2 years. It's like 85 to 87. So that was pretty impressive. At least when Kiss was in total meltdown mode, somebody was watching the clock and saying, "Hey, dude, we gotta get an album out." So that's probably why there was a lot of deception and a lot of just keep the train going. But Asylum, it had some cool songs. That was the poppy metal, like MTV metal, fucking. I don't call it hair metal because it's fucking lame. It was the MTV metal, wear pink. You watch the Tears Are Falling video. I think Paul's got like a pink outfit with like tassels and shit hanging off of it. Yeah, Tears Are Falling was the single. Yeah, all night. But this song had Who Wants to Be Lonely on it, which is a good song. It had King of the Mountain. This was a way better album, really, than Animalize was. Bruce Kulick's first album, because Mark St. John, Mark Norton played on the Animalize album. Then he got like some weird thing, and then he fucking died eventually because he was like smoking meth or some shit like that. Sorry, Mark. Bummer. Asylum was it was a good, 1985 Kiss album. It was nothing like that you had to think about. It was just like party rock kind of like, tears are falling. Whoa, no. Tears, you don't think about that shit. You're like, oh, it's fucking Tears are falling. Okay, we're good. No, it was fun. It was a good album, and like I said, I thought it was better than Animalize. Because Animalize is 18 and that one's 15. Number 14 is 1992's Revenge, and a lot of songs were written by Vinnie Vincent on that album. Boom, 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 and it was a heavy album. In their whole career, like Kiss gets lumped in with heavy metal, and Kiss has never really been heavy metal at all. With the exception of like Creatures of the Night and Revenge. Carnival of Souls was heavy, but it was more grungy. Those are probably the only two like actually metal albums that Kiss has ever done. They're not a metal band; they're like a rock band. So, just saying. Let's see though. Revenge. We had Mr. Bum, 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 bum. So Vinnie Vincent wrote the opening track Unholy, which is a great song. And he also wrote Heart of Chrome. It's surprising that it says Gene Simmons by himself wrote Domino, and Domino's a great song. It's Gene being a lech, but it's like one of those lech songs that I could take from Gene Simmons. The song called Spit, that's a trip. Paralyzed, that was written by Gene and Bob Ezrin. Because Bob Ezrin produced this album, so yeah. And then they came out with the Car Jam 1981, which was Eric Carr jamming, because I think he had passed away, and so that was their kind of little tribute to him. Yeah, Tommy Thayer did backing vocals. Bruce Kulick played on this. This is a pretty good album. It was one of those albums that you didn't expect. It was 1992. I didn't give a fuck about Kiss. Nobody did. So it was kind of pleasant to get this album, and it's fucking heavy as shit. And there's some pretty good songs on there. So that's number 14 is Revenge. Number 13, and I was just listening to this today, is Lick It Up. Now, I remember back in 83, I remember J.J. Jackson was on MTV, and they fucking had Kiss, and they fucking had no makeup on. Now, as a kid, the mystique of Kiss not having makeup on was way more overblown than what it actually was. These guys were walking around. There was tons of pictures of them without makeup on. In fact, on the Lenny and Squiggy album, Lenny and the Squigtones, on the back band photo, the guy playing the drums, and this is in like 78, I want to say. I'll look it up. It was Peter Criss with a beard. Yeah, no makeup. It's right there. Nigel Tufnell was actually there too. Christopher Guest. That was an obscure one, right? But anyways, that was a big deal, and it was also a big deal because Kiss had been kind of misfiring. They kind of like they had Unmasked, and they had the Elder, and then they had like Creatures of the Night, and those albums all were like, and then they took the makeup off, and they did Lick It Up, and Lick It Up was catchy. It was like it transformed them. It kind of resurrected their career because we gave a shit about Kiss by that time. They were like, Kiss? What are you talking about? I just, like I said, I just listened to this today. It opens with Exciter, which is a really good song. Not for the Innocents, good. Lock Up Your Daughters, that kind of shit. And then Lick It Up, you have to love Lick It Up. It's super simple, but it's super catchy. And these guys can write catchy tunes. And Vinnie Vincent on the album. Eric Carr was the drummer, of course. And you could, get behind this album. It was, weird to see them with no makeup on, though. And that was the thing that kind of bugged me about this album, was that I would just go, wow, it's Kiss without makeup. It's such a trip. Because that was the biggest part of their mystique back then, was just, not having or having their personas, their makeup on, and that's kind of how you viewed them as, right? For me, though, this was a good album, man. It had All Hell's Breaking Loose on it. It had, On the Eighth Day, Dance All Over Your Face. This was a good album. Young and Wasted. I remember watching that. That was a big deal. I was watching it live on MTV when they were sitting up behind the table and they had little name things and they're like, I'm Peter. Well, Peter wasn't there. I'm Paul. And it was weird. Once you looked at him, you're like, okay, that's what I kind of figured you guys looked like. I mean, when you look back now, you're like, how did we not know exactly what they look like? Because they're just wearing fucking face paint, for Christ's sakes. Lick it up! Lick it up! Whoa! It's only right now! It was stupid. It was kiddie rock, and it worked, man. And I dig that album. It's I was listening today, and I actually was I forgot how good that album was, which is weird because I used to totally hate that shit. So that's Lick It Up, number 13. Number 12, I put Dressed to Kill from 1975. I think out of all the early Kiss albums, I gave this one a listen not too long ago, and a lot of these, of course, it has Rock and Roll All Night on it, which is their biggest hit ever, and it has She, which I love. That's one of my favorite Kiss songs. It has Come On and Love Me, and it has Rock Bottom. Rock Bottom! But it also has a lot of stupid songs on it. When you listen to Room Service, Two Timer, Ladies in Waiting, Getaway, Love Her All I Can, Anything for My Baby, the thing with Kiss is dude, they had a lot of cheeseball lyrics, really cheeseball. And now we kind of look back. I mean, back in 1975, it probably blew your fucking mind. There's these guys on Fifth Avenue and wearing suits that they borrowed because none of them had fucking suits. And, dressed in fucking Kiss makeup, looking like fucking psychopaths. That was mind-blowing, but, by the time I got this album, because this album came out when I was 5 years old, by the time I got this album, the luster had worn off. It wasn't as amazing. And then now, you listen to it and you're just it's funny because we all look at the makeup era Kiss, and that's the holy grail, and then kind of everything else just kind of falls in line. But that album just doesn't do it for me. It's like that one Kiss album from the early days, and I'm just it's all right. I guess 4 really good songs on it, and then the rest of it's I don't really go, oh, dude, I gotta listen to Room Service right now. It's so good. Room Service, yes. There are a lot of dumb songs. So, boom. That was number 12, Dressed to Kill. Number 11, Love Gun. Love Gun! Love Gun. First of all, the title of the album is like singing about Gene's dick. You know, that was their love gun. I pulled the trigger on my love gun. It had Shock Me on it, which is funny because everybody loves Shock Me. It's a cool little riff, but like Ace is so awkward. Shock Me. If you listen to it now, you're just like, how did they get away with this stuff? Hooligan. Almost Human. Plaster Caster is like a song about that weird chick back in the 60s and 70s that would like take plaster casts of your cock. And then she has them all and she puts them on display. Like, you can look it up. It's fucking demented. Like, she has Jimi Hendrix's dick. Oh, look. Cool. And apparently they went and did their little cast, and that was made you a big rock star. And now I Stole Your Love, and Christine 16, hello, pedophile song. What the fuck? But that's a cool song. Tomorrow and Tonight, Got Love for Sale. I don't know. Like, by this time, like, the glamour was wearing off. It had a really cool cover, though. That cool cover where they're like, ah. And it was funny because every time they did that animated cover, like the Kelly cover, I think that was who did it. I can't remember who fucking drew those, but he always made them like shit. Like Gene Simmons has got like a fucking 12-pack. He's like, and you're like, dude, those guys were never in that good a shape, like ever. You're like, as a kid, you're like, holy shit, these guys are like look like fucking Schwarzenegger. No, they didn't. They're all the Gene Simmons all. Inside his armor, he's all skinny and fucking frail. You know, he wasn't doing cocaine, and he'll tell you that because he's such a fucking perfect person. No, you were doing booze. Maybe you should have been doing booze and fucking cocaine instead of fucking banging every chick. How many times has that guy's fucking cock started falling off of me? How many fucking penicillin shots that motherfucker got? Ugh, creepy. Sorry. Anyways, I digress. Number 10, Alive 2. But Matt, how could you put Alive 2? Well, first of all, there's so many things wrong with Alive 2. Alive 2 was that album that I used to look at when I was a kid. I'd go to Sears down in the basement. You know, they'd have the huge record section, and I would Kiss Alive 2, just looking at that cover with Gene where he's like, your blood fucking dripping all off his face. This blew my fucking mind. And it's a great album. It's just like Alive. Now, people worship Alive, and people worship Alive too, but I understand, like, the album's like chopped up from 800 different cities. There's stuff that was recorded in the studio. There's stuff that was recorded at the sound check. I think I Stole Your Love on this album was recorded at the sound check. This is like a greatest hits album. And then it had like, you know, it had Rockin' USA, Larger Than Life, Rocket Ride. Rocket Ride's fucking great. It had Any Way You Want It and All American Man. And those were actually like studio tracks because they couldn't fill up 4 sides of an album because they chopped off all the songs that were on Alive because they didn't want to double it up. I don't think people would have gave a fuck, but oh well. One of their huge albums. That's why I put it on the list because Alive and Alive 2, like, dude, those are just as important as anything that Kiss ever did. Really. So my dog's trying to like dig through the door. Asshole. Anyways, Kiss Alive 2. It's cool. There's some good versions of those songs, and that's why I put Alive 1 and 2 because some of the live versions of the songs are better than the studio versions of the songs. Which I know that's bold to say, but it's true. Like there's some definitely the versions that are on Alive and Alive 2 are like the definitive version of the song at that time. So I'm just saying. Alive, number 10. All right, we're in the top 10 now. Number 9, I'm going to go Creatures of the Night. Creatures of the Night, 1982. And my version has Vinny on the cover. That's funny, but we all know the original one had Ace on the cover, and Ace didn't play a single fucking lick on this album. But yeah, I just noticed that. I didn't even notice that before, but yeah, my version has the Ankh. Vinnie Vincent was the Egyptian warrior, which was weird because I don't think he was Egyptian. But that's mysterious and cool. I know he had to sue them to get like the rights to most of the songs that he did. This is one of my it's in the top 10, so this album is one of like 2 heavy metal albums that Kiss ever did. And it's got there's 4 songs on it that I love. And then a bunch more songs that I really like. So my favorite song in this album is Rock and Roll Hell. I love War Machine. Jesus, War Machine is heavy. The title track is really good. And, of course, I love it loud. I love it loud. I want to hear it loud. Right between the eyes. Gene. So fun to watch. But it also had Satan Sinner was a good song. Keep Me Coming. Ooh. Killer. And Rock and Roll Hell was so good, though. That's my favorite song on that album. So, woo! Number 9, Creatures of the Night. Number 8, Rock and Roll Over. This is where it gets hinky because this is where it goes to personal preference over I think Gene just called me saying he's like suing me or something. What is this? Yeah. Like I said, this kind of goes. This is where it starts getting crazy because this is just like my personal preference. Some people are gonna lose their mind and be like, "What are you talking about?" I don't give a shit what critics think, and I don't really care what anybody else thinks. I care what my ears heard and kind of way how I feel in my heart about like these albums. So. And that's what music is, So if you like these in a different order, fuck yeah! If you love Kiss and you don't think they're all douchey and like money grubbing, cool. You're living a fantasy, but cool. So, anyways, Rock and Roll Over, 1976. Had that iconic cover, beautiful. Great album. I Want You. Calling Dr. Love, Ladies Room, Baby Driver. Woo! Baby Driver is a good song. Mr. Speed is a fucking great song. And I love Hard Luck Woman. I do. I think Making Love is fucking boring, so I'm sorry. See you in your dreams. That kind of weird shit. One of Kiss's best albums. I ranked it number 8, but it's still one of their best albums. And that cover, God, I came this close to getting that cover tattooed on my arm. That close. I was like, ooh, I should get that tattooed on my arm because it's fucking badass, right? I ended up getting Randy Rhoads and Ozzy instead because I fucking love them and I don't love Kiss. So, I was like looking at, it was my first tattoo and I was like, oh, what should I get? And I was looking at a bunch of different things. And I saw the cover of Rock and Roll Over, and I'm like, that is badass. But then I was like, you don't, a little voice in my head, you don't love Kiss. Don't fucking tattoo them on your body. And so I didn't. Thank God. Thank God I didn't get that Bill Cosby tattoo. Ooh. Too late? Too early? I don't know. Number 7 is Alive. If Alive was just that. Alive was probably the album that most of us. I think that was the first Kiss album I ever bought, like with my own money. One, it had all the cool songs on it, and it was a double album, and it was just cool. And that picture on the front where they're just like, from their 75 stage show was, wow. Look at these guys. They look fucking scary as shit. And that was the thing about Kiss, man. Kiss is money grubbing asshole pieces of shit, but like, dude, back in '75, dude, they paid their dues. They put on a fucking awesome show, and they were great, man. So you can't take that away from them. You know, there's a point in time where Bill Aucoin, their fucking manager, and Neil Bogart from fucking Casablanca Rigs, where they all sold their fucking souls, but in the beginning when they weren't that popular, I mean, Alive is what broke them because the first three albums were not successful. And then Alive came out and people were like, and then they, Kiss started grinding, that middle three albums is where they were making like, where they were household names, where they were on cartoons and shit. And they used to have the Kiss color form. Yeah. And I had Scooby-Doo too, so. And I think I like Scooby-Doo even more. I would get a Scooby-Doo tattoo. Wouldn't get a Kiss tattoo though. But yeah, Alive. Alive had all the songs from their first three albums. Not all of them, but it had all the hit songs. It was a double album. And Alive was genius, man. Alive, like, some of the versions, like I said before, some of the versions, like Hotter Than Hell, that's a better version live. Deuce, Strutter, Got to Choose, Nothing to Lose, nothing to lose. Come On and Love Me, Parasite Baby, She, 100,000 Years, Black Diamond, Rock Bottom, Cold Gin. Jesus Christ, man. This album, and that's why it's number 7, because it's a live album, but it's still like, and, shit was done in Electric Ladyland studio. For years and years, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, they'd be like, no, that was fucking live, man. That was Kiss. Live. It was taken from, like, Detroit, and then a couple, like, a Cleveland show, and then, like, 2 obscure, weird little places in, like, Ohio or some shit. It was, like, 4 different shows pieced together. But then you find out, no, it's not. All the crowd noise, Eddie... They did so much shit that you're just like, and then I think years and you're finally in like, I think it was like '06, finally there was like an interview where they were talking about, iconic albums or something where Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley finally, well, yeah, there was stuff done in the studio. I mean, it was the spirit of a live show. It wasn't like note for note what happened, and it's like, still an iconic album. You could, but see, and that's the thing that sucks is stuff like that kind of goes into my head because then it kind of makes me look back and say, well, you weren't being honest with your fans. That's fucked up, Some people don't give a shit. Ignorance is bliss, and they're just like, yeah, Kiss Alive, H-Spirit. That's cool, but I'm one of those people, I guess I'm an asshole, but I'm one of those people that just like, wow, that's fucking shady. It's like Cheap Trick live at Budokan. It's not even recorded at Budokan. It's not. The Budokan show sounded like shit, so they recorded it like Naga, or like, where did they record it? I'll put it on here. But still, it's called Cheap Trick at Budokan. It's not even at Budokan. Whatever. Alright. Number 6, Gene Simmons from 1978. Now, weird thing about this, and I've watched people like rank the albums and blah, blah, blah. People shit on this album, and I don't understand it. It's one of my favorite solo albums. Fuck, it's number 6 of all-time Kiss for me. Number 6. Dude, it has Radioactive, it has Burning Up with Fever, it has Tunnel of Love, it has fucking Man of a Thousand Faces, and it has When You Wish Upon a Star. People shit on When You Wish Upon a Star. Fucking Gene Simmons singing fucking Jiminy Cricket is fucking genius. This fucking album was fucking what I... people go, oh, it's not what you expected from Gene. And this is what I expected from Gene. There's some creepy fucking shit on here. There's some fucking sexual fucking shit on here. And there's When You Wish Upon a Star. Because no matter what you can say, you can't take away... Gene Simmons is an immigrant that came to America and he's living the American dream. He became a famous person with a bunch of money. He worked his ass off to get there. Now, he's a creeper and a sex addict and a fucking liar and a cheat and whatever. That's cool. But still, He fucking loved everything that was America. His fucking stage name is fucking from the actress Gene Simmons, for Christ's sakes, which is weird. Gene Klein, or Shyam Witz, as his real name is. I fucking love this album. I've listened to this album probably more than any other of the solo albums. Even the one that I ranked higher than this, I still probably listen to Gene one, because Gene is the reason that I liked Kiss. He's fucking the demon, He's sticking his tongue out, drilling blood, spitting fire. So I remember when that album, fuck, and the little metal chain on his neck, it looked like they had to lock him up, like he was Mongo. Little blazing saddles there. I love that album. And like I said, dude, I've seen a bunch of people like, the Gene album was garbage. The Paul Stanley album was better. And I'm like, I don't fucking get that. Paul Stanley's voice is annoying. I mean, Gene's voice is God of Thunder, but it's still genius. Number 5 is 1976. Same year as Rock and Roll Over. Because, Kiss used to come out with 2 albums a year, which is fucking genius. The other 1976 album, the one that kind of kicked off their popularity, Destroyer. And if you had asked me like 10 years ago, I would have ranked Destroyer as my favorite Kiss album of all time. I would have. Because, dude, it has Detroit Rock City, it has King of the Nighttime World, and what? Teenage Dream, right? No, or Backstage Queen, or I don't know. I think I just mixed that with Katy Perry. It's got God of Thunder. It has Shout It, Shout It, Shout It Out Loud. We're gonna have a party. Fucking text me. I forgot to turn my phone on silent. It has Beth. It has Do You Love Me? Beth was like their huge hit. But it also has, and here's the detractors for me, it has Great Expectations. I don't love that song. I think it's garbage. It has Flaming Youth. Flaming Youth, I set the world on fire. I don't like that fucking song. Sweet Pain, I don't like that fucking song. So there's really good songs. It's ranked pretty high up here. I mean, we're talking number 5. But like years ago, I fucking loved this fucking album. And I actually got the Resurrected version, which was in 2012. And that's where they kind of like redid some of the stuff, and they put back some of the stuff that was like different, I guess. I don't know. I haven't synced them up next to each other, and I'm not going to, but and it actually put the original cover back on, which was like I think the original cover that came out that we all got was like, just a vast wasteland. But I guess like the original cover was like there was a city on fire, and like for some weird reason the record company took offense to that, and they said no way. So number 4 from 1978. 1978 was Ace Frehley. It's the best selling out of all the 4 Kiss albums, the solo albums, is Ace. It has Rip It Out. It has Speeding Back to My Baby. It has Snowblind. Not the Sabbath song, but a song called Snowblind, which he was probably talking about cocaine, I'm sure, because he was a big drug addict. It has New York Groove, which we all love. It's a cover tune. And it had Fractured Mirror on it. It also had Wipeout. I mean, it had Ozone on it. That's the best of the Kiss albums, in my opinion. Like I said, I probably listened to the Gene Simmons one more just because I loved fucking Gene. So I probably listened to the Gene one more, but the Ace one's the best one. It's fucking cool as shit. Even though you kind of get used to Ace's voice actually on that album. So that's number 4. Number 3. Wow, hell. We're already to number 3. We're going to go 1974, Hotter Than Hell. Hot, hot, hotter than hell. Or remember in the Kiss Meets a Phantom of the Park where it was rip, rip, rip and destroy. Got to choose Parasite, Going Blind, Hotter Than Hell, Watching You, Coming Home, and Strange Ways. Strange Ways is that last song on that album that totally gets overlooked. Is probably one of like the best solos that Ace ever did. Hotter Than Hell kind of got pissed on, because it did nothing. But these guys, they weren't famous in '74. Like, no one cared. They were this New York band that no one cared. Wearing makeup, they looked like fools. They came out with this album, their second album, and the album cover was in Japanese, and it was stupid looking. Looked like it was, taken out, and it was supposed to, but it looked like back in the day, they used to have these little smut magazines that they used to put, with like a bunch of ads and weird shit, and little, they would star out like the boobs and shit. Well, that's what this looked like. Looked like a Japanese porn magazine from 1974. That's what the cover looked like. And then on the back, they had the shitty drawing where it had the 4 different aspects of their faces like put together. It's a really bad looking album. Kind of muddy production, but it's fucking genius. This is my number 3. It's fucking great, man. If a lot of people like forget about this album, go back and listen to it. Jesus Christ, fucking great. Fucking great. And it's got Going Blind. I think I'm going blind. Which Kiss toured with Rush, and then Rush kind of made fun of that song because of Max Webster. Like they were like, so they did Think I'm Going Bald. That was their song. It was supposed to be kind of a takeoff of Going Blind. Didn't know that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Number 2. There's only 2 albums that I haven't mentioned. What are they? This will blow people's mind, but there's a reason for this. Number 2, in 1981, a Kiss album came out and it had like this doorknob on it. And it had like a hand. And it was called Kiss. Music from the Elder. 1981. And no one, including Kiss or Kiss's fans, had any friggin' idea what was this, a soundtrack to a movie? I mean, it had actors' names on it. Like there's actors on this album. Christopher Makepeace was on this album, so you were like mystified because there was no internet back in '81. So it was like, what the fuck is this? I think it's the only Kiss album that never went gold. Wow. It was grandiose. It had a bunch of like musical passages that didn't sound like it belonged on a Kiss album. It was mystifying. And it got them like, they had a lot of issues with that. Ace Frehley didn't want anything to fucking do with that album. He like mailed in his guitar work. He wrote one song on it, which is called Dark Light. I don't know. But, funny little story. Like I said, dude, my mom didn't let me get Kiss albums. My mom would have been like, what the fuck? Back then, it was like, Kiss. Kings in Satan's service. Knights in Satan's service. Something to do with Satan. Now, the funny thing about the Kiss logo is Ace Frehley came up with the logo and the little SS's on here. I'm backwards, so it's little SS's on here. That's fucking came from Nazi Germany. And when Kiss's albums came out in like Berlin, they would change the S's. Like, they weren't allowed to do this. Now, the funny thing about it is like, Paul and Gene are Jewish, and their band logo has the SS from fucking Nazi Germany. True story. and Ace collected Nazi memorabilia. I don't know if he still does, but back then he did. There's pictures, and I put it on one of my metal shows before, where there's pictures of Paul and Peter dressed up like Nazis, and they went and knocked on Gene's door and dressed like Nazis. Yikes. Okay. Yep. Kiss. But anyways, my mom wouldn't let me listen to Kiss. So like I said, I would hang out with my friend George, who I met in like 79, 80, around there. And in 81, he made me a Kiss. I finally broke him down. He made me a Kiss tape. And I remember on that Kiss tape, a lot of it was fucking, because it was the new album. And the new album at the time was The Elder. And George didn't care. He wasn't into like what the album looked like. He liked the music. So he put on a song. He put on a couple of songs from this album, but he put on a song called Mr. Blackwell. Mr. Blackwell, well, you can go to hell. I am a sinner who just loves to sin. You know, oh my God, Mr. fucking Blackwell. That was the first song on that little tape that he gave me. That was my first introduction to Kiss, and it sounded exactly like I thought Kiss would sound like. It sounded fucking evil as fuck. But then I think the second song was like Rock and Roll All Night, and I was like, oh. And then he put on A World Without Heroes. A world without heroes is no place to be. So, funny story. I fucking love this album. Now, the funny thing is people over fucking emphasize, like, I hate this album. Have you fucking listened to it? First of all, this is the best music that Kiss ever did. Musically, this album is fucking leagues above the fucking. I mean, when you listen to basic Kiss albums, like from the 70s, there's nothing fucking mind blowing on there. It really isn't. A lot of. You know, because they love the Beatles, so they, kept it simple, stupid. That's what KISS stands for, right? Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, stupid. And then put some Nazi shit on there. Oh, yeah, Nazis. Oh, sorry. Anyways, I love this fucking album. It's basically like a concept album, and nobody knew that because it said the music from The Elder, like there was something else going on. It was just fucking cool. I am just a boy. Yeah. Under the Rose is good. Dark Light's cool. World Without Heroes, Mr. Blackwell, which rolls into Escape from the Island, and then Just the song's fucking. The album's fucking great, dude. You just have to be in the right frame of mind to listen to it. If you were like expecting Rock and Roll All Night or God of Thunder, well, you got the God of Thunder version on fucking Mr. Blackwell, and then A World Without Heroes. Those are two of Gene Simmons' best songs he ever wrote in his fucking life. If you could like take your fucking head off for a second and just fucking listen to it with like a different set of ears and a different frame of mind. It's a fucking great album. And like I said, musically, it's the best album Kiss ever fucking did. Ever. So that's number 2. So we all know what the first one is, right? Number 1, 1974. We're going with the debut album. And, it's the number 1 album. Dude, for a debut, they had Strutter, Nothing to Lose, Firehouse, Cold Gin, Deuce, 100,000 Years in Black Diamond. I mean, they had Love Theme from Kiss and Kissin' Time. And Let Me Know, but... Wow. 1974. Dude, they're amazing. And just Cold Gin alone makes me love this fucking album. It's Cold Gin time again! It's written by Ace, but Ace didn't want to sing. He was like, I ain't singing, fuck that. So he let Gene sing all his good songs. Because I think Black Diamond let Peter Criss sang that, but that was another Ace song, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure, but I'm not sure. Paul Frehley. Let's see. No, Paul Stanley wrote Black Diamond. Black Diamond! Ace wrote Cold Gin. Kissing Time was a cover, but that was lame. It was kind of like a, rock around the USA kind of song. The love theme from Kiss. The instrumental. So beautiful. Yeah. Strutter, dude. Deuce. I have a fondness for this album, obviously, because it's my number one pick. So there you have it, man. Number one, the Kiss debut. I don't think they ever topped that. They really, coming out of the gate to have that many classic songs on one album was amazing. It was amazing. So there you have it. Number 26, Peter Criss solo album. Number 25, Hot in the Shade. Number 24, Crazy Nights. 23, Psycho Circus. Number 22, Monster. Number 21, Sonic Boom. Number 20, Unmasked. Number 19, Dynasty. Number 18, Animalized. Number 17, Carnival of Souls. Number 16, the Paul Stanley solo album. Number 15, Asylum. 14, Revenge. 13, Lick It Up. 12, Dress to Kill. Number 11 was Love Gun. Number 10, Alive 2. Number 9, Creatures. We're creatures of the night. Paul's voice kind of get annoying after a while. Number 8, Rock and Roll Over. Number 7, Alive. Number 6, Gene Simmons solo album. Number 5, Destroyer. Number 4, Ace Frehley. Number 3, Hot, Hotter Than Hell. Number 2, The Elder. And number 1, the Kiss debut album from 1974. So there you have it. Those are my Kiss albums, ranked in my order that I like them. They had some great albums, and they have some garbage, and then stuff in between that's kind of like meh. But there you go. If Kiss is your favorite band, hell yeah, love it. Kiss Army. If they're not, like I said, Kiss has never been my favorite band. It's the only like Kiss shirt that I own. Over the latter part of the years, I just seen all the mystery has fallen aside, and I just see what a bunch of money grabbing assholes they are. But that early stuff and the stuff that I listened to when I was a kid was still great stuff. So give it a try. I'm gonna go listen to Lick It Up again, because I was actually digging that this morning. Like, might rank that a little higher next time. But wow, everybody stay metal, yeah.